Hello everyone, I'm your host Marble Jester. Recently, just about 10 days ago, which is recently for me because I have a fudged up schedule, this is version 0.0.0 nonetheless. Welcome to Let's Play Torment, Tides of Numenera. I've been hoping for this since it was on Kickstarter, which is probably like over 2 years now since I found out about it and was hoping for it. This is the spiritual successor to a certain Planescape Torment, which is actually like one of my favorite games of all time, in spite of how bugged up and poor the combat was. The story and the writing, in its miscellany even, was just overwhelmingly good. But anywho, down to the nitty gritty, we appreciate you joining us during this early development build for Torment, Tides of Numenera. Keep that in mind. I have played a little bit of this, and it is a little fucky, even with good settings. I mean, I don't have the ideal computer, but nonetheless, yeah, it seemed very unfinished. The world we've created here is a highly detailed story and set in a world unlike any other. We encourage you to retry scenes multiple ways to get a sense of how your choices can change the world around you. Releasing an early version like this has been incredibly helpful during the production of our last release, Wasteland 2. Won't get back to that in a bit. Stay tuned. And we hope to get the same same level of great feedback, during the Torment beta. You are heavily encouraged to let us know your thoughts on different aspects of the game using the feedback button, or by going to our forums. We will be reading it. Feedback button's up here, baby. Do keep in mind that this is an in-development build. There will be bugs and unfinished elements. As we update the code, you'll get to join us in seeing things change on a regular basis. Hopefully you enjoy being a part of this process as much as we do. To set expectations, here's a list of things we know are not complete. UI is at a first pass across the board. It's functional but stylistically unfinished. There are no merchants or stores. You'll find some additional items dropped in random spots to make up for not being able to purchase them. Yeah, well, I haven't gotten far enough to meet any merchants or anything. Yeah, I definitely haven't spoiled anything for myself. There will be sound effects and visual effects missing. They will come in time. Gameplay balance is at a first pass. I see, so the difficulty is a little fucky whether it's too easy or too hard. We hope you're enjoying the core of the game. Continue. Now going to the options, you'll see, at least for now, see conversations, what we want is graphics. You see, we have a difference between, this is the default, 60 Hertz. It's all 60 Hertz, at least for the meantime. If you're like me and you prefer 30, then tough shit, I suppose. But, yeah, brightness, saturation, you know what, actually? The brightness is where it's at, is where it's at, because of what I've seen, this is a pretty dark game already. We don't need to lessen the brightness. You know what, maybe a bit, because, I mean, the context was that it was a dark place, but whatever. And also, on top of that, I'll be notifying the technical specs on Steam right here. Pardon my French. No. Girl, I'm talking about... Yeah. Yeah, okay, now let's, yeah. So if you know that your computer can handle the biznatch, which I'm not even sure if mine does, but I was just so hyped for this game, I'm getting it anyway. Oh, that's terrific. Scroll mouse wheel towards camera zoom. There are things you should know about the Torment character system. When the game starts, you'll be presented with a conversation window, and when it's finished, your character creation process has begun. The first room, Fathom 13... Oh, that's where I was, huh? That's pretty fucky. You'll interact with 3 orbs and experience a memory in each. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. If you don't want to be exposed to any mild spoilers, stop reading here. Okay. You can read it yourself if you want. Pause the video and pow. I'll be female this time, just for kicks.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
I want to look around.
A white-pink fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tumble. You are falling, the world many kilometers beneath you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself. A corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges.
The narrator's kind of cheesy in my opinion. I think they should have him at specific parts, if not only if to imply that he's sort of a narrative character to be introduced later.
The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that technically you probably fell from a thermospheric height. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes toward you.
Try and judge how far it is to the ground.
That you started at least 100 kilometers above the ground, at least assuming that you started from the dying moon. You've been blacked out for some time though, and now it looks like you're perhaps 50 kilometers up, maybe less.
Lie flat to stabilize the fall.
Spread your arms and legs, and they respond smoothly. A strange sensation, since you realize this body is new to you. The spinning and tumbling stops. The wind still howls past your new ears, a vast roar that deadens a part of your infant mind. Water springs unbidden to your eyes, the tears torn away by the wind. Through the haze of moisture, it is difficult to see, but if you focus your attention, you may be able to make out the details of the world.
Let's focus and look at the world.
Now that you can focus on it, you see that the large mass is clearly a gargantuan megacontinent. The only land of any size on this side of the world, at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot its enormity, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down across its surface. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further north and east lies a broad plain, scattered with curious structures visible even from this height. The northeastern part of your vision is a perfectly circular desert, a blue dot containing a watery city in its exact center. To the west lies a ring of mountains, surmounted by enormous carven peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the ground. It's coming at you fast. Directly below you is a littered bay.
Try to aim for something solid.
You angle your arms and cup your hands, but the wind batters you and you lose control of your fall and begin to tumble again. You have no idea where you're aimed. A mass of colors surrounds you, and the sound of roaring wind diminishes noticeably, but it is not enough. And there is a sickening crack as you strike something, the howl of a sudden surge of energy, and then darkness.
You fell. You remember falling toward the curve of the world. The ground leapt up to claim you. Impact. You should be dead. If so, this is a strange death. There is no peace here, and your mind aches, struggling to form simple thoughts. This doesn't seem like death, nor like any kind of life you recognize. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Yeah, you see sort of the texture of my character and of this. It's looking a little turn of the millennium right now, at best. Cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light, and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Reflected light streaks across, yeah, as in like a verb, not past tense. Let's see. Oh yeah, in order to increase the probability of doing something successfully, I think, you use might, which is actually like a little currency that replenishes when, I always stuck it up to moderate, but let's try it at challenging. Oh, I guess it's just... Alright, you carefully take hold of the bowl. Yeah, okay, so it's mandatory. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. That's actually, I read, yeah, see, there's my strength gone. That's actually a carriage over, like using your stats as temporary currency until you get rest. That's actually an idea that's carried over from the comic, not the comic, fuck. The board game. You can take a bowl of voted teeth and straight rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Good, yeah, and there isn't an animation for that quite yet. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows, and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light.
Hello? Oh, skist. You're dead, aren't you? No, that can't be right. If he were dead, I would be too. Can you hear me?
Where are you?
I can't hear anything. Are you even there? Well, if you can hear me, it means you're still alive. But you'd already know that, wouldn't you? Look, I'm just going to assume we're both alive and want to stay that way, all right? So here's what you have to do. I can't get to you, so you need to build a way up to me. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, this is your mind. It's not like I have a map. Ah, this is your mind. I bet your memories are down there. Find them, and you'll repair the path up to where I am. Are you there? Talking to myself here.
Bellow as loud as I can.
I can't tell what's real here. Look, build a path up. Then we can face this mess together, and you won't be alone. I won't be alone.
I guess this guy's like the Morty. The voice fades until it passes into inaudibility. Blank, oppressive silence falls, split only by the soft hum of new pylons rising from the depths. Yeah, they're... The rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. I'm getting overexcited. When you touch it, you feel a strange tightness in your head, and soon discover that the bowl is far too heavy to move now. Even the attempt makes your arms ache and temples throb. Try overturning it again, you puss. Alright, whatever. Oh, here we go, yeah. Just took a sec. Oh yeah, and that's very neat. Your character has like this innovative way of navigating that like they run around and correct themselves, so with such fluid animation. Now I don't know if the frame rate is a coding issue of some sort, but or if my computer just sucks because again, it's not really accustomed for 60 hertz. The air which is mandatory here. The air thickens with each step you take towards the watery orb, and whispering voices flit across one of the countless aching gaps in your mind. This must be one of the memories you are told to find. Two figures swim down through the orb as though it is a fathomless ocean. One vanishes into the ebony depths before you can study it. The other, a female, seems to be struggling, or perhaps drowning. You realize that, like the swimmer, you cannot breathe. Rescue the swimmer before she drowns. Permanently gain 2 speed pool. Maximum speed pool is now 11. Stupendous. Yeah, and I guess that's my speed pool, the yellow. In which case, I suppose purple is intelligence, which is kind of cool. You plunge your hand into the orb and catch this tiny swimmer. Surprisingly strong muscles flex against your palm, and the swimmer pulls you through the breach. As she does, you feel faster. Something about this place causes even your smallest choices to shape who you are. As you plunge into the water, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hand is covered in knobs and wires and antennae. He believes he can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Just even by telling him... Deceive him by telling him you've heard sounds of pursuit. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up, surprised, as you cut through his indecisive gaze. That isn't what I chose last time. I chose to do a spell, but I'm doing something that's new for me. Something that's got a little more finesse to it, dialogue-wise. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up, surprised. As you cut through his indecisive gaze, he grimaces and says, "All right, we'll be going through the door before they catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the still air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. The guards won't be far behind. Run. Just run. The water is crystal clear around you as you kick away from the pedestal. Your companion hangs motionless in the water, too far for you to reach before the guards arrive. You stroke for the hallway through which you entered, and emerging into the air, you race for the great door. The sounds of something breaching the surface behind spur you to greater speeds, but you fear you're not fast enough. The memory begins to fade, and as if you're being drawn backward through a tunnel, you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. There we go, and this, entirely, this moment right here, where this bridge appears, this entirely surpasses the moment where, I was. Basically, I just finished up that, last little memory scenario there. Yeah, make your way around, sweetie. With your crazy, half-textured hair. See, is this another orb? This orb, this memory, resembles an eye or masked face. It turns to face you with cold disdain. Mechanisms spin and mesh beneath the gleaming surface, and an ominous ticking begins, getting faster and faster. Two cold facts emerge from the mental gap this memory once occupied. The ticking does indeed mean that the device will soon explode, and you have no one to blame but yourself. This trap is yours, built to protect the memory within. Try to remember how to open the device. Perhaps it'll disarm the trap as well. I want a lot of intellect so that I know my technology and machinery a little better. Try to remember how to open them. Yeah. Permanently gain 2 intellect pool. Maximum intellect pool is now 11. Stupendous. Critical success. Critical success. You focus, shutting out the racing ticks of the device, and see hands reaching out, gently cupping the sides of the orb like an upturned face. You feel the connections in your mind increasing, strengthening. You touch the orb in the same way, and the mechanisms within grow still as the warmth of the memory races up your arms and into your mind. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad declivity, a flat-bottomed bowl riven by a wide chasm. Moss-covered arches provide natural ingress and egress for the light, and a broad golden disk gleams up from the floor of the valley. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. Wow, I must have been quite resourceful. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. Yeah, I was right, that is intelligence. Pardon me for not noticing immediately. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Draw attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of the site, reminder of the time constraints, convince her of the wisdom of your superior intellect. No, that just sounds conceited. Charm her. Use my charm. A cloud passes over the sun as you engage her in spirited, friendly debate. After a few minutes, she laughs, raising her hands in mock surrender. Stop, stop! Your servitors are down there. You've already chosen this as a site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, all right, I'm convinced. The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend into the valley to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use the Numenera integrated in the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction, examine the construct for mechanical faults. Sorry, it's just sometimes I get a little entranced. Look for deep the mystic metals near. Look for a deeper solution, perhaps an effect of the mystic metals nearby. That sounds interesting. A fog oozes into the valley as you wrap a fiber-shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any trans-dimensional emissions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the side of your new shelter. Addendum added. Escape the fathom. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory fill in the gap in your mind, blocked by jagged block. Blocked by jagged block, pardon me. I took that as a verb again. You stagger, clutching your head. The spectral voice didn't warn you that reclaiming your memories would hurt so much. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift, one by one, on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze-segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. Man, I got the hiccups. Just, I gotta have some pop with my breakfast. The light around the door's frame dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. What a curious doorway. Here we go. Bam, 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 this puppy right here. Your fingers are twitching. Your mind races. Each blink sends branching streams of white fire across the inside of your eyelids. You can't deny it. You feel stronger and sharper, more whole than when you landed here. Captive light swirls mockingly. There, I didn't take it as a verb. Captive light swirls mockingly beneath the thick surface of the orb before you, obscuring shadows, memories behind it. You will need to claim them somehow if you are able to be free of this place and find your companion. No, that's just That's just bull-dyke material. Cooks the shadows in front of the glass so you can see them. Intellect. Alright, but it still works like energy, so... Oh, 13? Wow, just rapidly increases. I like that a lot. Like, your different specs, like, failure, but I still got stronger. You shadow the orb until a hulking shadow strides to the surface of the glass, into the light. It is a hideous creature, a giant, and it is grinning. Its blood-stained claws leap through the surface of the glass and close over your head. Even in the attempt, you feel your confidence growing, and a memory rises in the crushing darkness. Took 1 damage to might pool. Oh, I see. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. Not even plunder? What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. Oh, like Metal Gear. Like freaking Metal Gear Rising. Like, got the high-frequency katanas and stuff. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor. Ooh, glassy. And holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Ooh, invisible blade. That's some pretty good shit going on here. Yeah. We're going to have quite the adventure. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Too stupid. Too naive. She's got her shit together. Your enemies, quite the contrary, advance single file, confined by the parapet. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it, or at least a strike or 2. Duck into the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. Nah, there's not enough time. Duck into the giant's swing. You're under the blurring arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are, and when he rises the great axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade under his breastplate. Ooh, right in the tendon in the armpit. That'll weaken the arms permanently. That'll weaken his arm permanently. The blade emerges from the back of his neck. Oh, man, it's even worse than I thought. And his life's blood washes over your hands. He falls, taking your weapon with him. And his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses, destroyed. Her return swing cuts through your armor, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this. She just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls it back for another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops screaming to the ground 50 meters below. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. You know, this reminds me distinctly of like the wisdom-generated flashbacks in Planescape Torment. Check that one out. Like it's a horrendous crime against humanity that it isn't on Steam, in spite of people advertising that it is repetitiously for some reason. Like if you find whatever, I'm not going to get into it. Hurl yourself against the door and knock them to the ground. Crack the door open to sneak past them. Charge through them. Crack the door open to sneak past them. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to walk. You push again, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. Wow, a lot of shites happened. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. Tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. Oh, like the opposite of a pentagram. Very interesting. I mean, or an alternate version, you might say. Ooh. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Point at the doppelganger with the clever eyes. You never know what they're capable of. The doppelganger makes its way over to you. It's about to speak when a thuggish figure charges out of the crowd and shakes his knife in the doppelganger's face. Speaking in your voice, the doppelganger raises a common hand, appealing to the thug's better nature with a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the thug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for the trouble. The doppelganger turns to you, waiting for your decision. Yes, that is who I am. Oh, you can't be freaking serious. Yeah, pardon me for that. Alright, I got 3 to might pool, 2 to speed pool, and 4 to intellect pool. Bam, 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 bam. Got good old healing. Your decision... Yeah, gain descriptor, clever. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. This place, your mind, is under attack. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Untroubled, your chosen identity steps out from the rippling glass and into you, filling you, making you whole. Restored 3 to might pool, 2 to speed pool, 4 to intellect pool. Terrific. So now I'm fully healed in my my stats. I am capable of defending myself. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. The pinprick of light you followed in the dark passage suddenly opens wide. There is no sense of transition. One step you were in the dark, and next you were here. With this freaky-deaky thing. What is this, a lab? You're in some kind of mystic laboratory, yet called it. Machines gleam all around you, seemingly incomprehensible data swirling around them like motes of light. 5 large tanks stand out, each one containing a different shadowy form, none of them human. A spectral figure stands in front of you. The Spectre. Everything about the Spectre seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette of green glass smoke, wearing stylish, well-cut clothes even. His jade eyes are fixed on you. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though to the best of your recollection you've never seen him before. He claps you warmly on the shoulders. Skist, you made it. Listen, I know you've got a dozen questions, but we're not through the worst yet. If you want to survive, you have to attune yourself. It's a process that, well, it's hard to explain, but I'll walk you through it. Who are you? You might call me a composite. It's a mishmash of your thoughts and memories and everything. I remember some things you don't, just like you know some things that I don't remember. You made me when you hit the ground. But of course, you didn't mean to make me, but here I am. Earlier, did you say we were in my mind? I don't know what else to call it. This isn't the real world, obviously, but everything you do here seems to change things. I think you can change the real world too, but you'll have to get there to find out. So am I dead? Like, what the hell's going on? If you were dead, we wouldn't be talking, right? Your body's out in the real world, knitting itself together, I hope. But if you don't finish this attunement process soon, then yes, we'll be dead. Alright, so how do I get attuned? Let's just get balls to the wall. You see all those tanks in here? Oh, that was too much. That was too much, Spectre. You see all these tanks in here? Each one's got a creature in it that's attuned to one of the tides. I need to attune to them, but that'll attune you to each tide. I tried it myself while I was waiting for you, but I couldn't do anything except watch them. I suppose that means this is your show. They're in stasis. It's kind of a temporal loop. I think he definitely likes to put emphasis on think. I think all you need to do is join them, hook your mind up with theirs, and make a decision for them that ends the loop. You should do what you want, by the way, not what they want. That's the whole point of this thing, to define you. Alright. So it's like demons, basically. Alright, I'm ready. Off-turn modes, toggle. Oh wow, look at me. Last cast off, female version. I think I preferred the guy. He was a little more normal. At first, this tank appears to contain a dense, jumbled mass of sharp-edged onyx. It is only when a cluster of eyes flickers beneath a slick membrane that you realize you're looking upon the oily carapace of a huge insect. Nishalsik, your memory whispers, compressed into a tiny space. A flood of bubbles rises from the bottom of the tank, bearing you with them into the depths of the creature's mind, seeing what it sees. Your young host clutches a streaming haunch of meat and crouches with the other hunters, shivering with outrage. Like the rest of the tribe, she's starving, and the pack elder does not care. Fucking pack elder, goddammit. Flexing scarred talons, the elder unfolds above them and demands that its hunters turn over all their kills, again, to honor him. Your host makes a sound like grinding glass in the back of her throat. The pack will not turn on its elder unless someone rises first. Her legs flex beneath her. What will you do? Examine the Nishalistic. Convince Nishalistic to reason with the pack elder. Go to your host. Con your host. Go with the elder. Make the Nishalsa confront and intimidate the elder. You stoke the outrage of the hunter into a roaring bonfire of confidence, and she knows she must confront the elder herself. She's the only one who can. That girl. She rises, bearing claws still wet with her prey's blood. Pheromones boil off her as she meets the elder's eyes. After a long moment, the elder hisses his respect. She and the others can keep their prey this time. You feel the tides embrace and flow through you. Back in the strange laboratory, 5 hulking, smoky creatures bound onto the platform, sucking at the air with crackling snarls. The sour dread in your gut recognizes them for what they are. Hands of the being that hunted you while you regained your memories. Fragments of the sorrow. 4 of them lunge into the machines connected to the remaining tanks, wreaking chaos on their delicate innards. The 5th fragment focuses its eyeless gaze on you and your ally. Oh no, it's found us. The sorrow is here. But we're in my mind, aren't we? They're just fragments. We've got to get them out of those control panels before you can attune. Here, this should protect you. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Whoa, hello. I didn't catch what he said there, I'm afraid. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Yeah, okay, so basic attack using speed. Huh. Is it like a different stat now? Because level effort 1. Each level effort reduces the task's difficulty. Oh, that's his speed. Alright, he's got like 30 speed and I've only got 9 because... Oh, jeez. Alright, so this is turn-based, though. I thought it would be... Yeah, I thought it would be like, real-time kind of dealy, like, Planescape was. Because I don't like real-time. I'm glad that this ended up being turn-based. I mean, it isn't as intricately appealing as Wasteland 2, but, Oh, I'm controlling him now, okay. Wow, way to miss, bro. Yeah, let's interact with this one. I kind of missed this one. The creature within this tank shudders, and bubbles obscuring in its glowing eyes. Pardon me. Thin, flickering fibers emerge from the tank. Pardon me so much, but dissolve before they can make contact with your temples. One of the beasts has infected the nearby machine and is preventing you from making contact with the creature's mind. Your gaze falls on the buzzing cables between the tank and a nearby machine. The sorrow fragment's presence has contorted them into painful shapes. Perhaps removing it will ease the creature's mind and allow you to enter it. What do you do? I will leave. So that I can repair this computer here. I'm good. Come on. You guys end that turn. Fuck that guy. Yeah, there you go, baby. Interact. A spinning, slitted disc is set into the front of this machine. Behind it, sharp currents of oily darkness twist and whirl. The amorphous, bestial sorrow fragment will have to be removed from this machine before the creature in the nearby tank will be calm enough for the connection. Consumes action. Carefully move the spinning disc and pull the fragment out of the machine. Speed. Success. Beneath the spinning disc, the saboteur's body roils, recoiling at the touch. Suddenly, it pours out of the machine in a stream of glistening black. The disc falls back into place with a satisfying click, and the whirlpool in the nearby tank dissolves. The creature should be calm enough to connect with now. The star fragment coalesces with a baleful, eyeless gaze. As a glittering zoetrope spins, a gleaming strong glass dome pops up from a socket in the blinking console. Brilliant energy swirl inside. It might make a useful weapon against the sorrow fragments. Gained item. Tidal capacitor. Interesting. Oh. There you go, he's stunned now. Interesting, okay. Stupendous. Tiny currents coil over this hulking creature in this tank, stirring the brown and silver fur on its muscular forelimbs. Curving tusks curl away from its jaw, and it is these that remind you what these creatures are called. This is a tusked Gorthus, though as far as you can remember, there's no such thing as a tuskless Gorthus. Oh, was that a joke? Haha. The currents speed up, whirling around the creature. Suddenly, you are drawn through the eye of the whirlpool into the creature's mind. Your host and a rival pack leader tumble down a snowy cliff face, biting and clawing at each other. They strike a ledge of transparent ice and roll apart, growling. Far above, their packs hoot in excitement. Cracks spiral out from their paws, both leaders tense. The ground is over a kilometer below, but the first leader to teleport to safety will lose the duel, and their pack. Your host bares his teeth. He will ensure his rival is dead to demonstrate his superiority. Even if he dies, too. Oh dear. What will you do? Examine the Gorthus. Hold on, I can't read that. Designate Tusk Gorthus. Nomadic creatures with a strong affinity for the Silver Tide. Pack leaders demonstrate limited psychic abilities. Interesting. Including teleporting itself or one other once per day, but packs will only follow leaders that display not only strength, but absolute superiority. A duel between rivals, once begun, cannot be ended until one of them is either defeated or dead. Well, define defeated. Examine their Gorthus again. Oh. I ain't got enough, action point. Oh, for goodness sake, you idiot. How about now? Yeah, I probably have action points left now. There we go. Force your... They're freaking animals, they don't listen to that reason. Display your superiority to the packs at any cost. That's just the reasonable way to go. In a natural thing like that. The Tusk Gorthus bounds at his rival, howling. Their tusks lock, scraping against each other. Suddenly, The ledge snaps, and both Tuskworthers fall into the open space. Both animals huff and growl, but neither will be the one to teleport first. At the last second, the rival's eyes open in fear, and it disappears. Your host slams into the ground, too late to teleport itself. As it lies dying, you feel its immense satisfaction. The tides swell around you, carrying you with them. You lean against a tank to catch your breath, eyeing the remaining creatures in the tanks. You'll need to be swift to avoid the sorrow fragments hunting for you. The presence of a sorrow fragment in the nearby machine is preventing you from making contact with this creature's mind. Oh, this one, huh? Alright, well, it's this guy's turn so far right now, so, brief rest, no. Draw the ire? Oh, I see, to make him, like, the target. Stupendous. Alright, end turn. Alright, get over here, lady. So that was 2 out of 3 I got. And once this computer's fixed over here. Oh, goddammit, dude. In clamor that's heard in the creature. Look for a way to open the machine and lure the sorrow fragment out. Quick fingers. My quick fingers. It's because a small notch suddenly it leaps, flying up to the tunnel and out with impossible speed. The creature in the tank melts into a calm, silvery pool of liquid the moment the fragment flees. The creature should be calm enough to connect with now. The malevolent hunter skids to the ground, carving a trail of sparks. Before the hatch closes, a curved metal rod resting several arm lengths in the tunnel pops out into the ground. The machine doesn't appear to need it anymore. It has some sort of data channeler, which isn't very helpful here, but it should make for a handy single-use teleporter by crossing 2 exposed wires at one end. Data channeler, huh? That guy's still stunned. Come on, you can't dodge while you're freaking doing this crap. Ah, you son of a bitch. Let's try to interact with this fool. The tank contains 2 crystal shards in a sparkling liquid. Memory stirs, pushing aside thoughts of pursuing beasts. You remember climbing a floating mountain of shining rock. Living crystalline formations wandered the wastes far below, their many legs tracing intricate patterns in the glittering sand. This being is one of those, a Quishamis. Its body is in liquid form, however. The shards, its heart and brain, begin vibrating together, filling your vision with what it sees. You sink into the simple sea-like mind of the Quishamis as it roams the jagged wastes, feeling its raw and aching need to create and recreate. It moves by birthing new legs from the death of old ones. It traces glorious whirls in the glittering sand before erasing them with even more complicated designs. Then, chaos. A hunter's ballistic slug smashes through its brain. Thoughts become in splinters, melting. You feel its dying wish to etch one last design on the sand beneath it. Inspire the Quishamas to etch its art on the hunter in revenge. The strange thought drifts through the Quishamas's disintegrating mind, intriguing and repulsing it in equal measure. As light fades from its world, the creature whips a casual, impossibly sharp spine across the approaching hunter's face. The human recoils, shrieking and clasping his face. Blood pours from between his fingers, pooling in the Quishamas's intricate designs. You feel yourself melting into the channels carved by the blades. After returning to your own body, a dull heat settles in your gut, and an oily haze crowds your vision. You sense... No. You know that the sorrow has focused its dire attention directly on you. The remainder of the sorrow fragments spill from the devices they were infesting, and join the hunt. Alright, so that's 3. So I gotta get this one, then the central one. Oh man, those guys are freaky. What a cool monster design. Alright, so I think he's next, then me. Alright, now this. Brief rest. Target self. Spectre's Mark. Draw the ire of a sorrow fragment for 3 rounds. Which one, though? What? Where'd he go? Did he like dodge somehow? The radiant humanoid within this tank, a fire white, your memory whispers, stands calf-deep in a pool of water, motionless. As near as you can tell, it is unconscious, but its eyes, slivers of even brighter light, are barely visible. They pulse once, and its mind unfurls before you like a cloud of flame, momentarily carrying you from the chamber and the creatures pursuing you. 2 gaunt, dehydrated fire whites trudge under an ember-flecked sky, across a charred plain studded with the towering bones of monsters. In the shadow of a mountainous ribcage, the lead in white stumbles to its knees, armed tendrils deliriously seeking water in the ash and dust. The other white, your host, is only slightly stronger and wishes to give it its power and life to the other so that it can reach the river a kilometer away. What will you do? Inspire the white to study its situation and environment for an alternative solution. Save your host by forcing it to drain its companion's strength. To wound, not sacrifice self. Permit the white to sacrifice... Convince the white to wound, not sacrifice itself, to give both a chance of survival. Yeah. Sacrifice is required, the white knows, but perhaps mutual survival is possible, at a cost. It coils its flaming tendrils around its opposing limb, and tears it free with a crump. With a thought, it reduces the arm to a column of swirling sparks. and channels them into the fallen body of its companion. After a moment, the other weight rises, and they continue their journey across the charred plain. Heat envelops you, aligning you to the tides. You lean against a tank to catch your breath, eyeing the remaining creatures in the tanks. You will need to be swift to avoid the sorrow fragments hunting for you. Oh gee, yeah, it seems this one's after me. Oh, and he's fucking off. Good. Good, get out of the way. What? I accidentally ended my own turn. Oh my god, that was so stupid. Ah, well, he's back in action. Great. Because it would have been too guaranteed otherwise. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, make it past these bitches. Let's get this ritual done with. This tank contains a humanoid with a skull-like head. Our name arises from your inherited memories. This is a Navajin, a creature of relentless, overpowering curiosity. Unaware of the sorrow fragments roaming the platforms, it speaks to itself in a grinding whisper, in a language you don't understand. Tendrils of luminescent data snake from the tank and stream into your temples. The room fades in flaring stripes as you enter the mind of the creature in this tank, and see what it sees. The Nevajin is in a dark cave, listening intently to a stone head embedded in the wall before it. I destroyed ancient Qua, the head murmurs. I sought words of destruction sealed in a forbidden tome. I could not help it, but once known the words spoke themselves to the 8 rulers of Kra, turning them on each other. Great Kra melted like wax in the wars that followed, but I, imprisoned, could not burn with it. Even now the words wish to be spoken. The Nevajin leans forward hungrily. What will you do? Examine the... To learn the words of destruction? Urge the Nevajin to learn the words so it can use their power over others. The helpless scholar says 8 beautiful alien words that strike the Nevajin's mind, fastening to its thoughts like squirming thorn-covered vines. Concentrating through the pain, the Nevajin flees from the cave, puzzled by its sudden desire to use its discovery rather than learn more. It finds others of its kind, and their words emerge in a tainted flood, poisoning them, turning them on each other. Warmth spreads through you, aligning tidal channels in your mind. That was the last of the creatures. You steel yourself for the deadly race to the tank at the back of the room. That's it. See those tanks at the platform? Get to the glowing one, quick. Before these bastards get us. Alright, I'm next. I think, yeah. Yeah, you see, this is the arrow. It's pointing at the last one, so... Ghosty Goo is next. And then I'm next. Oh, I got insufficient points, that's why it's yellow. Oh, no, or never mind. Scintillating color rises along the facets of the crystalline chamber. It seems ready for you to enter. Yeah, I don't have enough action points left, so with that in mind, just gotta make sure I'm defended. Oh man, this is a cluster fudge. It's really messing with the frame rate now. Alright, come on, I'm so curious. I'm so curious to get to the real world. I know this little mindy moo. Spectre's mark, yeah. Just draw their ire while I escape. Oh, it only works on one? Alright, that's kind of freaking lame. Oh, I almost did that mistake again. That's something to watch out for. The tank continues flowing with brilliant, colorful energy. A low hum reverberating in your mind draws you to it. Consumes action. Place your hand on the surface of the tank. Let's get out of this bitch. Peace. As soon as your hand touches the glass, a surge of energy flows into your body. The power from each of the 5 child creatures and the choices you made. As hard as you try, you cannot contain the massive wave of power. Let the power flow. Or just recognize it first. A burst of force surges through your arm, into your head, and out. The fragments of the sorrow screech in pain, fleeing the laboratory in every direction. Yeah, they're like demons. They can't handle my light. They can't handle my enlightenment. More and more waves flow through you, overwhelming you. Then the tide turns. The energy is no longer pushing, but pulling. It draws you inexorably toward the chamber, then somehow yanks you through the glass, filtering your essence like a psychic sieve. A blinding light shines at the end of like a tunnel, and then I get beamed up. Interesting that my mind, like the apex of my mind here, is like a laboratory. The silver rain pours down on a cratered wasteland, beating endlessly on your headgear and turning the road into a red slurry that kicks onto your boots and your leggings. Trudging behind you are 30 miserable soldiers, glaives, mostly all as soaked as you are, and all as heavily laden with weapons and gear. 6 are even more weighed down, lugging between them a heavy crate that makes them plunge shin deep in the muck with every step. The only person without a pack walks behind you, flanked by the company's toughest veterans, a scrawny Aeon priest, whose robes are somehow neither wet nor muddy, but who seems more put out by the rain than anyone else. Why was I not retrieved in a vehicle, he asks. Why am I being escorted home by poorly armed grunts? If this is what command thinks of my work, maybe I should sell it to the enemy. The woman marching beside you sighs. She has lieutenant's pips on her tunic, and a scar on her right cheek. I never heard that word before. And a scar on her right cheek from temple to jaw. No vehicles available, she says, and no other companies thanks to the Chalcedon's assault. Every other company fit to fight is marching straight for Ansau. With a curse, one of the men carrying the priest's package sinks to his waist in the mud. The column stops while the soldiers try to extricate him. Your lieutenant stands at attention. The priest watches with a smirk. Wow, what a fucking guy. That priest. Tell me about this work of yours, priest. What makes you so fucking special? The priest snorts, as if a glaive like you would even begin to understand, but very well. I've basically taken a standard wave projector and coupled it with a resonance echolocation device and a self-canceling oscillator to make a weapon that can overramp nearby energy weapons and cause them to suffer spontaneous ignition. Interesting. I didn't quite catch that even though I read it. Or, to put in words, even you might understand, I made a weapon that makes the enemy's weapons blow up. Yeah, no shit, I caught that. How's our side weathering the Chalcedon's assault, Lieutenant? She says, I'm afraid we're getting our heads handed to us on all fronts, Captain, and if it succeeds, the bastards will have our backsides, too. But the best time to take our leave, I suppose, or maybe the absolute best time, depending on how you look at it. She peers into the rain behind you. Vostiel should be back with updated info soon, if he gets back at all. Look around. And why shouldn't this weapon blow up friendly weapons as well? Does it, like, discriminate? He gives you a sidelong glance. That is a more perceptive question that I would have given you credit for. The answer is the shielding I created, which makes sure the rays only spread from the point of the gun. Indeed, I was out here in no man's land for the specific purpose of field testing it when... He hesitates for a moment, then continues, much more subdued. It seems the shielding had a flaw that presented itself when the weapon heated up. The first few shots worked just fine, but after too many, he shrugs, that is why I required the rescue. The company I was traveling with, well, yes. Let's hold until Vostiel returns and we hear his info, Company. Hold and fall out. The men gratefully drop their packs and huddle together to share some kind of sour, dried meat over the warmth of a heated cipher. Minutes later, a harsh whine penetrates the hiss of the rain. It's Vostiel, says your lieutenant, looking around, back from his sweep. Vostiel, I meant to say. Vostiel skims in on a small pod hovering in the air. He stops in front of you, pulls off his goggles, and salutes. Luck's holding, Captain, he says. Early leave and now this. Intercepted a courier with an interesting dispatch on him. Seems the unit that holds Barha's monolith has been reduced to 10 men by an attack from a rogue construct. They downed the bastard, but it near to wipe them. He grins at your lieutenant. Landy will object, but if we move now, we could secure it before the Chalcedon knows it's threatened. Commander Reckon's been wanting that vantage for a year. Wouldn't it be a feather in your cap? Of course I object, says Landy. We have our orders. Of course I object, says Landy. We have our orders. We should stick to them. Why go hunting uncertain glory when we'll already get a commendation for bringing in the priest and his invention? Escorting the priest will get us a pat on the head, says Vostiel. So will taking the monolith, but it'll also win us the envy of every other company. Do you know how many cast-offs have died trying to win that damn thing back for the side? We'll be heroes. Your lieutenants both look at you. What do you say, Captain, says Vostiel. Good behavior, another one glory. You know that. And never lost honor either, says Landy. Landy's right, there's no glory for wizardry. Very tempting. Very true, Vostiel. You and I will take a small squad to the monolith. Landy, stay here in the company until we return. As you choose soldiers for the assault, Landy speaks up. This is not going to look good, Captain. The priest and his device were to be under your direct protection. I will, of course, do my best to keep him safe, but if something does happen, it won't be me who Commander Reckon blames for it. You know that. Please think again. I have every confidence in you, Landy. The priest will remain with you. Keep him safe. After a half-hour march, you and your squad reach the monolith and creep toward it on elbows and knees. It juts up over a low rise, a silver slab of synth steel 4 times the height of a man, sheared off at the tip of like a knife blade, snapping off in someone's gut. You've never known why both sides consider the thing important, but reputations and promotions have been won for taking and holding it, and that's all that matters. You spot 10 enemy soldiers guarding the monolith, 4 huddled beside it in a makeshift enclosure made of rags and pitted plates of synth, and 6 more out in the rain, patrolling in pairs. All are talking to each other on aether comms. At first, you think the men are all you're up against, but then the rusted parts beside them stand. And you realize they're not parts at all, but an ancient metal war mantis. Vastiel curses, clever bastards. They didn't just put down the construct that attacked them, they fixed it up and put a leash on it. As it circles the monolith, you are relieved to see that the thing is limping badly, and is missing an arm and some leg plating. Unfortunately, its glowing red eyes tell you its beam weapon is still operational. Faustiel lowers his voice. This is bad. Those eyes have the range to burn us down a league away, and they never miss. If we can't take it out immediately, we're dead. We're fucking worm food. We must take it out immediately, scouts. Get in position and prepare to fire on its forelegs. Your squad slips between the patrols and spreads out behind a low ridge so the construct will have a harder time killing them all at once. They also mine the approaches to their positions in preparation for the inevitable counterattack. When all are in position, you give the signal, and the entire squad pours fire at the construct's front legs, where its synth plating is most damaged. Hoping to collapse it, the construct's front legs buckle and it topples. Unfortunately, in the second that it takes it to fall on its face, it spits 3 beams in 3 different directions, and half your squad is dead, burning like candles. The enemy patrols converge on your position and quickly discover the traps you left behind. 2 are melted to slag, and you pick off the 3rd with ease. Then return to the ridge. To your surprise, the construct still lives. It has raised itself on its arm and is scanning for targets while the troopers by the monolith do the same. We can take the squad, whispers Vostiel, but that heavy... We're dead as soon as we attack it. He pats the scope on his beam weapon. If we can hit its eye, the rest is easy, but it's going to fire on the flash, so whoever pulls the trigger is dead, whether they hit or not. He looks at you. You want to try, Captain? Just say the word. You want me to try, Captain? Just say the word. Do it then, Lieutenant, but do it well. Vostiel salutes, then swallows. Tell Andy I'll miss her disapproving glare. Always made my little heart go pitter-pat. He turns and lays himself behind the ridge so his head is level with it, then pokes the barrel of his beamer through the weeds that cover it. You and your last squad member, Alvush, stay with him as he waits for the construct to turn its eye his way. Finally, he excels and fires, and instantly his head explodes. It almost seems as if he shot himself. You look up, the construct is flat on its face, smoke and sparks coming from its shattered head, while the troopers in the enclosure next to it are firing in all the wrong directions. Alright, we got this. As the silver rain washes Vostiel's boiling blood down the incline of the ridge, you pick up his long-range beamer, and then you and Alvush get down to the slow but certain work of picking off the last 4 defenders one by one. Glory will be yours for taking the monolith this day, and a promotion too, most likely. Only you will know if they were deserved or not. Oh, that's right, they ran off. A kaleidoscope of colors drags you back from the welter of memories. That memory was more powerful than the others, but it has ended. Your personality reasserts itself, and you stand in the strange laboratory once more. The specter beams as you approach.
That was great! Did you see that? Scattered them!
So I'm attuned now. What does that mean?
Well, it means you're alive, for one thing. So that's a bonus. The tides keep your body together, sucking energy in so you can heal. You can push that energy out, too, like you did with the sorrow fragments just now. There's 5 tides. Your nature, like your choices with the creatures, determines which ones you're most attuned to. Like, you're most attuned to silver, which is about power, influence, and renown. The kind of person who wants to leave an impact on those around them. But that's just how you are right now. The tides are always moving, and you can change. I mean, you're going to be who you're going to be, right?
What happened to me in that tank? Whose memory was that?
I don't know. All I saw was you put your hand on it and then blast those sorrow fragments to the stars. But it's your mind, right? It was probably some mental connection, like the creatures in those tanks.
What are the tides, anyway?
Huh. Probably should have started with that. The tides are a force. Like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions. There are 5 of them. Blue, red, indigo, gold, and silver. At least that's what they're called in here.
Blue, red, indigo, gold, and silver. So the silver one was the horned thing. Yeah, I remember that. I definitely gave the horned thing its satisfaction there. No homo. He gestured at the laboratory equipment around you. The memory I had felt a lot more real than what happened with the creatures. Did it? I don't know what to tell you. It didn't look like anything happened out here. The surge of energy that drove away the sorrow fragments, was that something I did?
It was. That's one of the things attuning does. The tides keep you alive. Maybe you can't control them all the time, but they can change things around you. I wouldn't be surprised if it worked that way in the real world, too.
A wide grin plastered itself across his face. Those creatures that were here, can you tell me more about them?
That was the sorrow. Or pieces of it, anyway. You can imagine how terrible the real thing is.
Oh.
I don't remember much. Maybe you know more than me. But the sorrow is what threw you to the ground and nearly killed you. It's still after us. It'll always be after us. Unless you can stop it.
It's like sin. Interesting.
But we got you attuned, right? We can do this too. Together. I have a plan.
What about the plan? What's your plan?
First, you need to get back to your body. When you wiped out those sorrow fragments, a tear opened in space just over there. Fair bet that it's your way back. Second, you need to find something called a resonance chamber. I don't know everything about it, but I remember what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stop the sorrow, once and for all.
So that's like going to be my Gek, huh? The resonance chamber?
It'll look a lot like the tank you used to attune yourself, a glass sarcophagus. Except in the real world, it's inside a crystal dome somewhere with 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I'm sure you can't miss it. Use it like you used this one, and we should be fine.
I think I'm ready to go.
Right. Good luck.
So in the real world, I gotta find something similar to that, but in an orb with 5 robotic arms around it. I'm outie. What looks like a tear in space shimmers in the air. Through it, you see darkness and the sprinkled light of the stars. Reach through it with your hand. As soon as you touch it, your senses expand, as though your mind were inside the tear. You realize the sky around you is not sprinkled with stars, but mines, billions of them, each one several orders of magnitude greater than your own. As soon as you are aware of them, they become aware of you. They converge on your presence, the weight of their immense knowledge threatening to crush you. That's super interesting. Instinctively, your mind throws up a shield to surround you, an isolated space within the darkness. The mines outside crash against it, trying to break in, but the shield holds strong. While knowledge isn't exactly a good thing, it could be like a psychic, demonic thingamajigger. Feel the mines outside your space, but do it carefully, okay? Your initial estimate of their numbers was far off, you now realize. There are trillions, maybe quadrillions. You can sense just the fringes of their personalities and memories before driving yourself mad. And what you sense are minds that have existed for eons, from all eras and corners of the universe. They are not malevolent, good, but they will definitely snuff you out in their effort to learn what you know and bring you among them. And that's not what you need right now. Feel the minds outside again. Maybe you'll learn something. Quadrillions of ancient minds desperately seek a way into your isolated shell. It's surprising that, for all their power, something you have created can keep them at bay. See, explore the space. See what else you can do. The minds outside fade away, and you sense the presence of other objects appearing in the space, representations of your will, or perhaps not your will. Like the shield, you aren't so much creating the objects as recalling on things that had already been created once. This shell, like your own, once belonged to someone else. two things come sharply to your mind. Symbols of will in the form of simple objects. A circular window and a metallic cube. I see, so this laboratory probably has a place in the real world. That's just the first thing I remember for some reason. Examine the metallic cube. As soon as you touch it, words and pictures form in the air above it. It's some kind of information cube recording your memories. It's easy to scan through the information it currently holds. It chronicles your fall and your experiences with the specter and the sorrow, like a kind of journal. And there's additional information in here you did not know. Diaphanous strings connect the journal to the outside, somehow making connections between your experiences and the vast knowledge that lies out there. Even as you scan through the data, new information magically appears, describing the room you're in and the objects you see. The journal mentions a wooden chest here in your shell, which you did not see before, but which appears next to you even as the words are written in the air. Open the journal cube again. Read it in depth. Augmented by occasional information. It updates at the speed of your thoughts. There's a recent entry here about the journal itself. Look out the window. The window is a convex lens, magnifying the outside. The mines are actually shining lattice works of light, and the space between them is not empty as you had thought. Gossamer strands connect each mine to every other mine and to your own shielded space. Nothing is truly isolated here, not even you. Open the chest. 3 sets of clothes are folded neatly inside. A small card sits atop each set. On the cards are the words Glaive, Nano, and Jack, respectively. You realize these are potential aspects of yourself, like the doppelgangers in the mirror before. With this chest, you can choose who you are. Look at the windows. Examine the Nano's clothes. The Nano's clothes have a multitude of pockets and paraphernalia. These are the clothes of someone who wants to understand the world. Not just the world, but the worlds before it, and to use that knowledge as power. They look like they'd fit you nicely. The Glaive's clothes. They are clothes of a warrior, made for someone who uses strength and speed to overcome any challenge in their way. They look like your size. How about the Jack? The Jack clothes look like a cross between the other two. A Jack of all trades. They are the clothes of someone who uses knowledge of past worlds as power, but is also prepared for physicality, if it should come to that. These clothes are ready for anything. They should be easy to wear. I think Nano, specialization in intellect and wizardry. As you put them on, you feel your mind expand. Everything around you comes into sharp focus, and you better understand the things you see and have seen. This place, for example, is part of the data sphere, a store of ancient and powerful knowledge from the prior worlds. See, so it's like an archaic internet. The clothes fit well, which is good because the other 2 sets are starting to fade away. Leave them on. Become the Nano. As soon as you make a decision, the wooden chest, along with the other clothes inside, disappears. Wearing them changes you somehow, forms new pathways in your mind. You are made whole again. You feel more certain and assured. Suddenly, the way out seems clear to you. You can sense yourself back in the strange laboratory, but you sense another self, a real self, being knit back together in the real world. You know how to return to your body. Open the journal cube again, but with my greater knowledge. Look out the window again. Return to my body. A glowing strand leads from your shell to your body in the real world, ending at the tattoo on your body's head. You follow the strand with just a thought. The world whirls beneath you. The labyrinth of your mind and the strange tear in space fade away, and you open your eyes once again. Alright. We're going over to the real world with 0 cash. You have reached Tier 1. Abilities unlocked. Tidal Surge. Target self. Attack and defense tasks difficulty -6. All damage taken -75. All damage dealt doubled. All companions take 7 intellect damage. Only... Oh, I see. So it was like... I channel intellect into myself. -6. All damage taken minus... Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I drain my companion's intellect in order to increase my battle strength. You know, some might to compensate would be good. Making that an even 20. Yeah, speed. Yeah. Speed will be the silver medal. Academic knowledge of sciences that are not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. Academic knowledge of sciences that are not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. Aids in tasks to access the memories of previous consciousness. Academic knowledge of natural sciences and physical creatures. That are not exactly physical or natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. Agent has to access the memories of previous consciousnesses. I see. Natural. Yeah, consciousness. Choose abilities to learn or improve. Ward +1 a shield shimmers around you at all times. Give you an extra 1+1 armor. At all times? Yes, please and thank you. Now, Onslaught. Intellect ability. Unleash a blast of concussive energy to bludgeon one target, dealing 4 damage. Only usable during crisis. So it's like a battle thing. Adaptation, that's cool. I think Onslaught would be good. After on defense, cost 3 speed per turn when active. All defense tasks difficulty -3 while active. -3 difficulty on speed defense tasks. I see. Yeah, because I remember I saw that shield icon that represented like defense mode. Scan thoughts. You can read the surface thoughts of most people or creatures you speak with. This can sometimes be useful when navigating tricky conversations. You know what? I actually want that. Scan thoughts and ward. They work constantly to protect me. Yeah, definitely. It's out of the question that I have anything else. Alright, so active abilities, Tidal Surge, channel my partner's intellect into my physical strength. Effort on defense, basically -3 difficulty on speed defense tasks, cost 3 speed per turn when active. So in total, speed defense tasks are -6, and intellect and physical are -3. I'm not sure. Basically, ward, scan, thoughts, practiced with light weapons, handy with daggers, clubs, and your fists. You can use light weapons without penalty. Now let's see, exploration skills, aids and tasks to access the memories of previous consciousnesses. I'm trained, concentration. No, the skill's functionality is not implemented for beta. We're included as a preview of upcoming mechanics. Alright, well, let's see this preview of upcoming mechanics. Mitigates penalties for equipped bonded artifacts. Inability when bonded artifact slot is locked. Untrained. Every equipped bonded artifact confers a negative effect. Trained bonded artifacts. What slots do not confer negative effects? Alright, so that's basically bonded artifacts as in like magical technology that's adapted to you, blah blah blah. When you need to convince someone that something is true when it isn't. Deception, yeah, that's basic still. Persuasion, convince an otherwise reluctant character to see things your way or to do what you want them to do. That, it's kind of refreshing that those are separate, but nonetheless, they should just be generalized as speech or something. I'm not sure. I don't know, it kind of shows how much dialogue action is going to be in this game. Intellect defense, lowers the difficulty of evading attacks that target intellect. Very good. Inability. Oh, yeah, I didn't choose either of these, so they're enable. I'm enable in them, at least for the meantime. Academic knowledge of natural sciences and physical creatures is the mystical. Although that should be natural, they seem to get their terminology mixed between the two. Academic knowledge of sciences that are not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. So it's basically like dimensional sciences, like theoretical physics. Unarmed attack, medium bashing, defense assets, got a tatter. I wish I had a different character portrait to advance 180 XP I need. Last cast off, I'm a clever nano. Clever nano is my thingamajig. Oh wait, was that going back? Poopy poopy. I should have freaking assumed that. Ah, poopy scoopy. That really grinds my geese. Oh, so it's like Oblivion, you know? You just freaking... Yeah, so I'm a clever nano. Yeah, confirm. And I'm last cast off, just like in Planescape, I was freaking nameless one. We hope you enjoyed this portion of the game. Please provide any feedback you have. Is that pre-render? Looks nice. I mean, it's sort of classy, but it's clear, too. Where did she fall from? Her body's smashed to talk. It's a wonder she's still breathing. All I saw was the corona, not her origin point. But look, she's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration. Will you look at... Wait, I know that face. This pink-haired woman, she knows me? What was that? What did you do, Calestige? His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling in the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. You blame me? She emitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process, obviously, Alagern. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Oh yes, it's obvious, Calestige. His voice is grim and clipped. Then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal, we know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set. I'm no ordinary mortal? What do you mean? You really don't know? He cocks his head to the side. I'm starting to think you're not her. Starting to think, Alagern? Tell me, is it a novel experience? It's her face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. You're familiar with the word changing, Alagern? it implies inconstancy. Thus, the changing god may well have changed. Several versions of a shrug, and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obviously to anyone that you are newly born. Her most solid self curtsies while others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Calastige. This is Alejern. We are explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Who is this changing god? Huh, that's something coming from you. She gives him a sidelong glance. The changing god is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality long ago, a means to transfer his self to a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, that when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. Oh, he knew all right. He eyes you up and down coldly. The only thing the changing god cares about is himself. He doesn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. Before I woke, I was in some kind of laboratory with a glowing specter. With how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. Where are we? What is this place? Yeah, that's a damn good question. A sanctum of your sire's. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the ninth world, possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Are there other cast-offs? Dozens, hundreds, who can say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder why any of them survive. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? Like, what's the standards of this world? Are there, like, freaking crazy-ass monsters that can hit you harder? An excellent question. Haven't seen your regenerative abilities in action. I suspect they are primarily physical. A regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours, exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You're in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks? Says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the Renaissance Chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the Sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point, a catalyst. The memory fades. Calastige is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks just like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered, the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Okay, that's much bigger than what I was imagining. So this one's broken, so I gotta find another lab, huh? Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Or flesh-eating viruses. Yeah, okay, you're a freaking mad scientist, lady. Settle down. One presumes disfigurement by the iron wind would likewise be devastating enough to... I think she gets the point, Calastige. I saw a vision of myself in another time and place. You didn't see it too, did you? Algren. I say stare into space while Calistige graphically described all the ways you could die, but that's about it. He snorts. I only know this because I did the same thing. Now let's see. Do either of you know how to fix that crystal chamber here? Crystal chamber there? Whatever. Whatever, it's right here. Algren chuckles, then firm and certain he says, not likely, though it might not be impossible. You need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. Yeah, they probably got a bunch of historians and such. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. You turn to the insane to help a newborn? Where's your judgment, Algren? I would take her to the Order of Truth. What's the Order of Truth? Like a freaking college? Her distaste is evident in the expressions of... Oh. The Order of Truth, are you mad? They would sooner take us apart. What's the Order of Truth? The way the page scrolls is a little disorienting to me. Knowledge seekers, the learned who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Algren here was once one of them. Frauds, quack-solvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'll not trust them with the changing god's secrets. Yeah, they sound like a college, all right. You're just angry that they couldn't help you with yours, her echoes tinkle laughter. But I am being too cruel, dear Algren. Let us take our new friend to the Order. Can you tell me about the Order of Truth again? What is the cult of change God? Algren, will you take me to the cult of change God? Calistige, will you take me to the Order of Truth? I have some other questions. Calistige, will you take me to the Order of Truth? Of course, once you provide an introduction to the priests, we'll have a chamber fixed in no time. We'll have your chamber fixed in no time. You'll end up with your clothes. You'll end up without your clothes and broken in a ditch while she laughs it off as a good experiment. It's probably best I come with you as well. Suspicious as always, Algren. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it is full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you to safety to where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her faces. Okay. No, the first type in error I freaking noticed here. I have some other questions. Do either of you know anything about the sorrow? I've had my share of sorrows, but never the sorrow. What's that, disease? Her mouth compresses in a tight line. I know nothing about it. Oh, so that's really esoteric. What the Spectre told me. The freaking, I suppose it's like a freaking polymorphic hive mind, the sorrow. Alright then, let's go. Oh, so I have them as companions now. You know what? I'm going to have to take a break. See you next episode on Let's Play Torment, Ties of Numenera, the beta. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.